You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting.
Oh, here we go. How are you?
Unless you want to eat each other.
I lost a lot of weight.
John, you're
You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Next case.
Arrival.
Welcome to the Village of Wappinger Falls monthly regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees for today, Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, recognition, announcements, special events.
I would just like to point out to the residents of the Village of Wappinger Falls that we're having a village-wide election on Tuesday, March 21st. Polls open at 10 a.m. and they close at 9 p.m. And all three elections will take place in this room. What I mean by three elections are Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3, mayor race, and that the lineup is Trustee Huber is mayor race. Trustee Teleshek is running in the 3rd ward for trustee. Joseph Nichols is running in the 1st ward for trustee. Trustee Ruffin is running in the 2nd ward for trustee. Raymond Chase Jr. is running for a 4-year term as village justice. The other terms are 2 years. Thank you. Okay. As you know, we have had, let me get this one, hearings going on for the comp plan for quite a while. The second hearing we opened up, I don't remember exactly, last meeting or one before it, and it's still open. And what we have, notice is hereby given that the village board of the Village of Wappingers Falls will conduct a public hearing on the 22nd day of February, that's when we opened it, at 6 o'clock here in the Village of Wappingers Falls, at which time all parties and interest citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard regarding the draft village comprehensive plan. So we have it still open. Are there any questions? Any further questions? Any additional questions? From the public? From the board? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
That was Pat?
Yes.
And on the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolute.
Yeah, does the
Yeah.
board have any questions? We have our consultants here. We have Lisa Kopp and Michelle Gregg. This has been a culmination of 5 years of hard work, and I'd like to thank them for all of their hard work in getting us to this particular point in time. This particular version of the comp plan, it contains all of the county comments, and those comments were incorporated into the version you have before you as the second of 2 mandatory public hearings, which of course is needed under the state law in order to adopt the comp plan. Before going forward any further, does anybody have any questions regarding the seeker resolution that you have in your desks and before you?
I have none.
No.
Mayor, if you want to make a motion.
Do we have a motion to adopt the seeker resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye.
Roll call vote. Trustee Huber.
Aye.
Trustee Sadati.
Aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin.
Aye.
Trustee Teleshek.
Aye.
Trustee Laura
Aye.
Mayor.
Mayor votes aye.
Okay. I gotta date that and I'll seal it.
You have one final resolution before you for your consideration.
Resolution number 4, 2023, resolution adopting the proposed Village of Wappingers Falls Comprehensive Plan.
I'll make that resolution. I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
Second. Go ahead, Pat.
Is that Kevin? Roll call vote. Trustee Huber.
Aye.
Trustee Sadati.
Aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin.
Aye.
Trustee Telesack.
Aye.
Trustee Laura
Aye.
Mayor.
Mayor votes aye.
Board Trustee Laura would like to say a few words.
I had the privilege of having a very small, I had a very small role in just working with some of these folks, but if you weren't able to have an opportunity to sit in these meetings, I don't know if you could truly understand the amount of effort that was put into this. I believe it took four years, or perhaps 5, as Attorney Wallace said. And Attorney Lisa Cobb, consultant Michelle Grieg, Brian Murphy, Alan Furstenberg was involved early on, but Chairman Tom Morris and Vice Chair Bonnie Kiefer, they birthed this incredibly dense document that is really incredible. And if you read it and you look at it and you think to yourself that this largely was done by a very small group of people who solely did it because they want the village to succeed. And Tom we went back and forth with some different key points, and I can tell you right now, it's one thing that we all agreed upon is that, like other important documents for government, they're living and breathing and can change and can we can revisit, see what's successful, see what's not successful. Right now, I think the document is really successful, and there's going to be people that are really loving everything about it. Some people that won't like certain things, and Chairman Morris had said if both sides leave with problems, then I guess we did the right job, you know. And I think that's something, if you see something that you're not totally happy with, just understand that the people that really did it, I mean, this is just 5 people almost, really, just 5 people. 2 of them, you know, granted are professionals that are on payroll, and the other people, you know, they're retired professionals who, yes, they may be getting some small amount of money, but it's basically they're volunteering. And this will now help us. This document is intended to allow us to make justifications when we make decisions on how to bring this village forward. And so I think if you see them out somewhere and you know who they are, you should say thank you. If you're an investor, if you're a business owner, if you're developing, if you live here, if you really need to do it, because this is really special. And I was every meeting I left very impressed by their commitment, and you know, just thinking that I don't even know how many people would read this document, but these people wrote it. So I don't want to, you know, continue, but thank you to that team of people. I thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So the last step, I guess, would be the filing of the comp plan.
Those are John, and they'll scan them and send them to us.
Okay.
And then the resolution includes the instructions for the negative declaration has to get filed with the environmental notice bulletin. Michelle will take care of that. I'll take care of it, yes. And we will make all the appropriate filings for the book John, and then get it posted and done. So thank you all very much. We really appreciate it.
I'd like to thank you both for your guidance to me during this very long process. I appreciate it, and
Do it again with the zoning code.
thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. We have resolution number 6 of 2023, resolution authorizing contract with Hungerford and Terry Incorporated in connection with the Village of Wappingers Falls Water Treatment Plant Greens and Filter Project.
Mayor, we have our village engineer here.
Yes.
Wants to come up. This is on the Humber.
Go ahead. I'll go ahead.
The Water Board voted Monday night to move forward with the green sand, so the $40,000 is to give the company to draw up the plans so that we can have Todd have them and draw up plans to go to bid. So we want to move $40,000 from capital improvement over to a green sand filter project account, I guess, and move forward, start moving forward on the green sand filter.
Great.
Excellent.
Good.
The only thing we need is the exact amount of the contract. I know that it
Well,
changed a little bit.
The exact amount of this one?
Yeah. I just want to make, do you have the agenda?
39.
Yeah, 39 here.
39,761.
That is the correct.
That is correct, yep.
Todd, do you have any comments about?
No, honestly, we really need to get this going. It's been going in circles for a couple of years now. The Dutchess County has been very helpful with us in keeping things status quo due to the actual connection that we made with the town of Poughkeepsie that's now up and able to be utilized in an emergency circumstance. But they're only going to accept that as being an answer or solution to the problem that we have for so long. So moving this forward is going to be critical to ensuring that the water in the village is adequately treated and filtered moving forward. We're looking at a project that's probably going to take about 2 years. The equipment alone, once it's actually ordered, will take approximately 52 weeks to actually be constructed, and then there's probably another 4 months worth of work for installation beyond that. So we're looking at about a 2-year mark from now for moving forward. That's going to be continually working on the green sand filter.
Great.
Excellent.
Thank you. Good job. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think that's a roll call.
It is. Just a minute. Roll call vote.
So this, they're doing 65, and just let me, right? Church. I don't have any bodies, no.
Trustee Huber.
Aye.
Trustee Sidoti.
Aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin.
Aye.
Trustee Tillisak.
Aye.
Trustee Laura Sella.
Aye.
Mayor Serino.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Resolution number 7 of 2023, resolution authorizing service agreement for well and pump maintenance and inspection services and redevelopment of well number 7. Contract with SB Church, Weston and Sampson, CMR Incorporated. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Can we just make one comment? It's actually well 7 alpha. It should be
Okay.
listed on there, just so that the resolution's accurate, correct?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's a professional services contract.
Trustee Huber.
Aye.
Trustee Sidoti.
Aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin.
Aye.
Trustee Telezak.
Aye.
Trustee Laura Sella.
Aye.
Mayor Serino.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried.
I would just like to say on that one, so you know, I would like the money to come out of our budget. I seen the tentative budget that had money there to rehab a well.
Okay.
That's where it should be.
Do you want me to read this thing I got from Brenda, the minutes?
Of the meeting.
Well, there's 6 points here that was given. We did the green sand filter. We
Oh,
talked
no,
about,
that's, I just had a copy of what my sheet too. So
We
they
talked about-
all have that sheet, I believe.
well, they do, because I put it in the package for
Right.
you too.
That.
Well 7A, we talked about. The project for South Mizzier Prospect Street is moving forward.
Yes, it is.
Secone to mark out the road. The land will be surveyed with a quote from Professional Services Larry Lynn, land surveyor.
Through Todd.
I don't know what this, new tech contract pending.
Well, Mr. Wallace, I believe now has the paperwork he needs to move forward with that. We've already voted on it in the water board and approved
Okay.
moving forward.
And the last thing is Inside Engineering presented an update plan for the Buckingham project,
Yeah,
Nelson
they-
Avenue, Channingville.
They were at our meeting, and we basically told them at this time, we don't have the water, but in the time it takes you to build it, as long as everything goes right with the green sand filter, we should be able to supply them with water. So, and back to not the project, the new tech, if we can pass that tonight.
Yeah, Todd, do you have any comment on that one? We do have a full contract now for.
Yeah, I reviewed the full contract. Obviously, legal needs a review as well. What was approved on Monday night by the water board was, as long as the village attorney, village engineer, village DPW, and village water superintendent all agreed that the contract is adequate, then we would move forward with it. But we do need the village board's approval, pending those 4 other approvals, to make sure that we can move forward with it. What we're planning on doing is actually adding loggers into 65 locations within the village water system, which will actually be constantly listening for leaks. We've had a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's been circumstances where we've had leaks, and it would be good to know way ahead of time. There is a cost to this, but when you start looking at the amount of money in water savings that we can have for future projects and whatnot as we're moving forward, it definitely offsets those costs. So we decided from the water board's perspective to move forward with Plan 2, which is 65 loggers, which is 50% of the village. We'll put those in the areas where we know that the water system is older, and you know, a good portion of the water system, probably about 45-50% of it has been replaced. So we'll have less loggers in those locations, more loggers in the locations where the system is got some age to it, and then and also areas where we know we constantly have issues. But that will eliminate long-term leaks, which will then save water on the existing plant, which is already kind of having an issue with the softening and the manganese issue. So it's going to help the system greatly by doing this. It's been under review for probably about 6 to 7 months, so I think we have it nailed down to where it really is.
All these things have been a battle for 11 months back and forth to get this far.
You don't say.
Do you recommend that we put
To the
this?
finance committee on the new tech, I'd like to pay the first year out of capital improvements, and then it will be on our budget for the rest of the time.
I was at the meeting, yeah, I remember you saying
Huh?
it. I remember you saying it at the meeting.
And I believe, oh, sorry.
Attorney, are we going to have a resolution for that?
Well, we don't have one before you because I just got this contract, but I did review it. It looks fine. My question is, are you okay with the March 22nd date so I can get a resolution together, or is this something that's time sensitive?
I think March 22nd is fine, right?
Yeah, the
We'll have to wait for the next meeting.
time sensitive, if he fills up before we get there, we don't get it.
Yeah, but we can let them know March 22nd it will be taken care of, and I think that will make it work.
Okay,
Yeah.
at that point in time, there'll be a resolution before this board authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. Okay?
Yeah,
That's fine.
Okay,
thank you. Good work.
You're welcome. Thank you.
all right. We have a resolution number 9, 2023. Resolution authorizing the acceptance of a performance bond to guarantee the cost of outstanding improvements in connection with the West Village lofts. We have $18,000 in bond for that. Can I have a motion to accept that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Roll call vote. Trustee Huber.
Aye.
Trustee Sadati.
Aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin.
Aye.
Trustee Telezak.
Aye.
Trustee Larissala.
Aye.
Mayor Serino.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Village of Wappingers Falls Performance Bond Cash Agreement in the matter of West Village lofts. This is to show that we're going to receive, we received it. Get to it. Can I have a motion to
I'll make it.
second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
I don't need a roll call vote for this one. Village attorney, are we gonna have, I think they're here tonight.
Yeah, Mr. Hardesty's here, right?
Do we have a copy for them to sign?
Mrs. Hardesty's here? Is that you? Okay. The only thing I need is the actual, are you posting cash or is there gonna be a bond?
It's gonna be bond.
Bond?
I believe so.
Okay, so your bond, your bonding company or your insurance company usually will send something naming the village as insured in the format that I have to see first.
Oh,
Typical format. Oh, it is cash? It is cash.
the boss just told me.
Oh. Okay. So,
He's gonna drop a bank check tomorrow.
yeah, a bank check's preferable to Brian.
Yeah, I talked to Brian about an hour ago. If you dropped off the bank check tomorrow, he has the CO ready to go. That's what he said.
Great. All right. Pleasure doing
Thank you,
business.
Todd.
Thanks for doing business here.
Okay, next, approval for a change order, general construction contract, Route 9 sewer. That's yours, Mayor. Okay, this has been going on for quite a while. Justification, the following changes are hereby made to the contract documents.
Let's shut this down.
Mark.
Justification, coordination and contamination materials and associated delays extended equipment and supervision costs of $64,928,000. Remove and dispose of contaminated water, 3,600 gallons at a lump sum price of $14,568. Remove and dispose of contaminated soil, 100 tons of contaminated soil at a unit price of $151.54 per ton. Testing of contaminated soil before trucking to disposal facility at $1,200. Change in contract price. Original contract price is $340,301. The current contract price, adjusted by previous change order, $340,301.79. Contract price due to this change order will be increased by $95,851. The new contract price, including this change order, will be $436,152.79. The date for the completion of all work will be May 17, 23. Time is of the essence. Extensions of time only for causes outside the contractor's control, including adverse weather. Note, execution of this change order represents full consideration for any and all delay-related cost and time impacts associated with the project through the date of this change order. The contaminated soil value is based on 100 tons. This is an estimated value. The actual quantity shall be increased or decreased at the time of the weight at the disposal facility. So what we need to do is have board approval for the change order.
Is there
I would like to make a motion that we accept this change order as read.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Now we're going to go into the discussion portion of the meeting on various topics. The first one is a discussion leasing, renting the boathouse. Mayor Sereno.
So last Thursday, there was a person who called in through the intercom, and Clerk McCormick took the call, and I went down to see the individual who worked at the thrift store at St. Mary's. And she told me the story how they're closing the thrift store eventually, and she's looking for space. So I pointed to the Presbyterian Church because that thrift store is basically closed, and I gave her a couple other ideas of where to look for space. None of them were palatable to her. I said, I'll show you a spot we have in the village, but it's not in the central business district or whatever. And so I showed her the boathouse. And she loved it. And now I know the board's been talking about doing things and leasing it out, but nothing has come yet to fruition, and we haven't set even rental rates. And the more we talked, I realized she was looking to do this to rent the space. And I told her what I thought without getting into any details, because they would be part of a contract, so I don't want to give the dollar amounts on what I suggested to her. For how much to rent it, lease it. But ultimately, I then had to meet with the bishop and Father John up at St. Mary's, which I did yesterday. And I think if the thought and the idea of us entering into some agreement with St. Mary's is palatable to the grants that are on there. We wrote the grant, and then we had Town of Poughkeepsie and Town of Wappinger join us in the grant. As long as we meet the criteria of the grant, or could meet the criteria of the grant, then we would be able to rent it or lease it, whatever. And so, to that extent, we left with an understanding. I would report back to the bishop and Father John and Kathy Drennan after the board meeting, and there will be some discussion in executive session about this, about the dollar amount and whatever, and what we would need to do. But we will need to know from our grant consultant if we can somehow find a way, and if this is palatable to the grants that were written. I thought that if it was possible, and you had a tenant, for lack of a better word, paying you every month, it would save us the trouble of trying to get functions there. And I mean, they would be of varying dollar amounts, 200, 150, 300, 400, whatever. But it would cause us to put some effort in. You'd have to buy tables, chairs, we'd have to make sure it's clean and whatever. And we don't do a very good job of administering this kind of activity, let's face it.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't.
I know. But we generally don't. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, okay. So this can be some thought that the board can talk about, because this is the first time they're all hearing about this. But at, say, and we haven't agreed upon a dollar amount, but you could get upwards of $19,000 a year on a rent. And so, could you get that kind of money renting it out piecemeal? I don't know.
Quick question. You're saying that you're gonna allow town of Poughkeepsie come in and rent our out?
No, nothing like that.
Well, you just said town of
No,
Poughkeepsie.
he didn't. What he said was the church's goodwill, for lack of a better word, store where they set thrift store from the village of Wappingers
Right.
would rent that.
Yeah.
What he's saying is, the boat, if you don't mind.
But the boathouse was in
Boathouse,
conjunction.
right, originally, in order to get funding for the boathouse, the mayor came to the town of Poughkeepsie and the town of Wappinger at the time when I was in that capacity, and asked us to join in the intermunicipal agreement to resurrect the boathouse, so to speak.
Oh, you get
The village.
good people to get out there and fix it.
Right.
We can rent it out,
The
and we can
village-
make money.
It's up
But
to
not
the
the
county.
town of Poughkeepsie, the thrift store.
Well, he just said town of Poughkeepsie.
No, you just misunderstood.
Why can't even hear him?
Okay, well, so I'm just clarifying with you, Joan. I'm telling you that's not what was said.
I said that the grant, Mayor Alexander, the village wrote the grant
Right.
in conjunction, and the town of Poughkeepsie and the town of Wappinger joined in on the grant.
Alright, so right there, are you saying town of Wappingers and town of Poughkeepsie are gonna come in with the grant? So that can.
We already got the grant.
I'm just saying, that means you're asking town of Wappingers and town of Poughkeepsie to come with the village of Wappinger Falls, right? And that means they're gonna say, oh, if you're gonna come in with the grant, we can use that boathouse.
No, it's
No, yes or no, right?
Joan, if I could just explain it to you very quickly.
Thank
A few
you.
years back, when we moved our highway garage,
Right.
that piece of property, it was the town of Wappingers, town of Poughkeepsie, and the village of Wappingers got a grant and got money to repair that place. So there's ties. There's certain things that we can do and certain things we can't do.
Okay.
So I believe what the mayor was saying is, those things would have to be figured out first, if the idea of a thrift store could even work there.
Okay.
Because of our ties with the town of Poughkeepsie, with the town of Wappingers, being that we all went in on that grant together, there's only certain things we can do with it. So I think that's what he was trying to say.
With
Alright, but I'm just saying-
with the village being the lead agency.
Alright, go ahead.
Yes.
But now, if the thrift store took over, thrift shop, then other people couldn't rent that, right?
Correct.
Yeah, correct. And it's only a 3-season facility, too.
So there's no, just so everybody knows, when I got here about a year ago, there was no CO at all in that building. We worked with Brian Murphy to get it to a point where we actually got a CO issued for 3 seasons. The mechanical units that are in there are up to today's standard. The issue is with the energy code, the roof and the walls don't meet energy code. So we're working on a solution to that now. But as of right now, that building can only be used through 3 seasons, meaning it can't be used in the winter. It can be used spring, summer, fall, but there's no AC as well. So the building is as it is. There's a couple fans in there and whatnot that would keep it a little cooler in there. But if it was rented out in any way, that has to be part of the equation. So.
And they know that.
They do know that? Okay. Yep.
And just
Okay.
to, John, excuse me, just to dovetail off of that, it's really up to the county. So the county will tell you, because of the funding, there's 2 different grants from the county and 1 from Hudson River Estuary. They really will, that's what we're doing. The mayor has asked, and I said I would wait for the board's authorization for me to seek that advice to see whether we're allowed to use that facility for that
Yeah,
purpose.
they probably didn't think they were gonna go in and fix it up for bricks, that's what I'm saying.
So, Mayor, are we supposed to, as board members, give our perspective here right now?
I'm just bringing it to the board's attention.
Right.
And so if this is something that the board, you'll have to wait until we get a response, but I want you to be aware of it. that there is something potentially on the table that could generate stable income for the village.
I just want it to be known that I do not think that should be the purpose of the boathouse. I think that wasn't the intention of the development. I think it's a missed opportunity for the community, and the boathouse is not necessarily, was not ever intended probably to be a money-making operation. But I think that will just get that.
That's park.
I'm sorry?
I said we offered, I don't know, not this mayor now, but the last mayor, former Alexander, we rec committee and village residents offered, we got Vets Park down there, we got the empty land, we should build a building that we can rent it out.
Oh, well, we got the boathouse.
That's way before the boathouse.
Okay, I understand. So I'm just speaking about the boathouse. I think, like to Mrs. Rogers' point, it probably was not intended to become a thrift store. And though I appreciate that the outgoing church may need to facilitate something like that for their community, that boathouse has a lot of potential to be something other than that. And I just want the record to say I will not support that.
I also think we should maybe just see where everybody stands so nobody's wasting their time on this, because I also don't think we should be entertaining a lease agreement, and it should be open up to the public for functions. So I wouldn't be on board with that either.
I would have to agree with Trustee Lorcel and Sadati on this. I don't agree on this. This should be used for village functions, village stuff, a senior center, place for the summer camp to go if it rains, whatever. It can be used for a lot of things and not like a retail store.
Has it been made public yet?
No.
Because you did bring, no, I don't mean about that.
Oh, it's public now.
You did bring it up before for graduation parties and things like that.
Yeah.
If you put that out there now, you probably would get to some of these graduations. You already had a couple of parties down there, didn't you?
Not that I recall that we got some rental income from.
Wasn't there parties there last year?
I don't think so.
There were some events.
No, there was an event, excuse me, there was an event at Betts Field.
No, not that's
Okay.
down the boathouse.
No, none at the boathouse.
Yeah, they tried to put it through, but it didn't happen because we weren't prepared with the CO and everything. Yeah.
Okay, so while we've now
That
conveyed,
was discussed.
it was discussed, right?
Yes, it was.
What is the other three trustees? We've got the right side of the table here.
I am not in favor of a thrift store.
Okay,
I will, I have to agree. I think that can be used for other activities.
okay, and trustee Ruffin?
Yeah, I thought the purpose of the village boathouse was to be a venue for weddings and other type of rentals from
Okay.
the village.
Well, that takes care of that.
All right,
I think 6-0 is justifiably stating the fact that we don't think this is a good idea. Okay.
Great.
all right, before moving on, I'd like to go back to action on minutes, February 8th and February 22nd.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second,
Who was that?
Jennifer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Authorization to pay bills as per approved warrants.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Who was that?
That was trustee Niznik and trustee Ruffin on the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Okay. Going back. Can we had a sewer backup a while back at 2674 West Main. I met with the highway superintendent. I met with our insurance broker yesterday, and we were concerned about the highway department going in there and fixing that sewer backup, but our engineer Todd Atkinson said that we could make that repair and not risk doing any damage to any house foundation. So that's just for your information. Approval of water-related, we did. The contracts, that's done. S.W. Johnson reported Kevin Powell resigned as first lieutenant, and Anthony Hensley will resume that position. Can I have a motion to accept the correspondence?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Who is that?
Mike. Steve Russell.
All in favor?
Aye. Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Accept resignation of Police Officer Ronald Gerain, number 65, effective February 6th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Approval to hire Thomas Kozier as part-time police officer to step 3.
May I step in here for a minute on this one? We've done this once before and we have a grievance on it already, and now we're gonna do it again. I think we ought to listen to our attorney, or ask our attorney about this one before we even do something. Unless the police committee knows something about this already.
I don't know anything about this one, no.
So I think we should table this if we could,
Yeah, but
please.
we have an active grievance out for this already.
But that,
Probably shouldn't talk about it.
Well, if you're gonna, you don't have to move on it, and nothing will happen, but if you table it, you have to motion to table it.
all right, so let's not move on it then.
Okay. Approval to move police officer Louis Gagnelli from part-time to permanently hourly. What that really means is he's going from 20 hours or less to 39 less with no benefits.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Monthly updates, police.
Before we get into that, so tell me exactly what the deal is with Thomas Kozier as the part-time police officer.
We probably
Did we-
shouldn't speak about,
Are we
Let's talk
tabling?
about this in executive session.
yeah.
Are we, is this moved to executive session? Or is this being tabled?
The talking-
Neither.
The talking about it, it will be.
The board didn't move on it. I'm going back to the police commissioner tomorrow and tell him the board did not.
The board can discuss it in executive session, but has to make a motion at the appropriate time and do so for personnel reasons.
Okay.
You can do three things. You can approve it, you cannot move on it, or you can go into executive session. If you want to go into executive session with it, make the motion now.
I think we should wait till council next meeting.
I agree.
You want to go to,
So we're not.
We're good, we're doing
No,
nothing.
we're not acting on this
And then
period.
we're gonna have our
Well, I mean, do you
attorney
wanna-
here next time anyway.
Okay.
We're gonna talk to them then.
okay. All right, monthly updates, police,
Nothing.
finance, trustee Ruffin.
So, as many of you know, this has been a very hard time of transition for the finance department in the village, and it is a trial by fire, per se. There are just too many different problems to really list, and I'm not going to give a blow by blow about each of the problems that have, been addressed by Ms. Java, thankfully, by John Clarge, by Jennifer Niznik, and by our treasurer, Gina Mealy. But I can tell you that they have done a particularly good job of acting as a team to really cut these problems off as they rear their head. I mean, unbelievable things that I will mention are the MVP health insurance bill not getting paid because the contact information was from the previous treasurers. Who would have even known that would have happened? That's been fixed, and a voucher has been made, and that check will be cut. The warrant for that payment has been adopted tonight. So little by little, we're moving in the right direction. We'll be holding a finance committee meeting next week so that we can further get a handle on the village finance position, and that we can get ready for the next budgetary period of 23 to 24 fiscal budget.
I'm just going to add to that just real quick. I too would like to, just thank everybody involved. These last 2-3 weeks have been a bit challenging, as we all know. Obviously, with the help of Lori, she's been very helpful. The girls upstairs, John, everybody's just really gotten together, getting the problems done one at a time. Just a shout out to our treasurer, Gina. She came into a situation that was not the type of situation you want to, nope, Gina's not here tonight. A situation that you want to walk into too. So kudos to her for hanging in there. She's been great. She's getting things done, and just thank you to everybody for the total support.
As the village clerk and receiver of complaints, I would like to say that Lori has done an outstanding job
I need a vacation.
in keeping them away, keeping my emails down to a low amount, phone calls and all of that. I have sent dozens, not 1 or 2 problems to Lori, dozens of them. And I want to thank you personally for all you're doing and all you will do. It's not over by a long shot.
I was going to say, you don't want to report from me, but I will tell you that it makes me feel good that you've entrusted me to help you climb out of this. But I have to tell you, in all of the situations I've dealt with in the past 12 years in public government, I have never seen something so complicated and multifaceted like this. And, you know, Jen has been there 5 times a day. Do you need anything? Mike Ruffin's calling me from Florida. Adam shows up to help me. I mean, as long as I get tools and resources, which is what John is giving me, it is, you know, it's going to be okay. But the depths and the levels, I mean, I was telling Kevin today, I think I scared him. I just, it's going to take a while. So I appreciate everybody being patient, especially the employees. I mean, I know Mr. Kozak's here from the water department. I'm not sure for what capacity, but, you know, these employees were, and I'm sure Jennifer will tell you, they weren't even being heard. And it wasn't about the board. It was just the inter-office and the changeover. So we're making headway. And
Thank you, Lori, for that.
Before we move on this, it should be noted that 8 days ago, we got served grievances. We have 15 days to respond. Of all the grievances that were laid out in their complaints, Lori has resolved, on average, 90 to 95% of the issues. So, and then even after the 15 days, there would be another maybe perhaps 10 days, but I believe we will meet the deadline on maybe everything but one item in the 15 days.
within the 15 days, we'll have it all rectified.
There you go. So now we have some confirmation that it looks like in the step, that first phase, we should be able to have them all cleaned up. And with that, I will entertain.
Well,
Trust-
you guys already said that everything that I just wanted to say. So I wrote out a whole story.
Did we steal your thunder? We're sorry.
So my thunder, pretty much everything that I wanted to say. Basically, so that aside, once again, thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
Kick-ass job. Yeah, hopefully I can sing it. But really great job. She's instilled the confidence. I believe that hopefully by our deadline, we'll at least have the answers to resolve our issues. I hope that she can continue to resolve and remediate some of the financial issues that have come across. I know as you're working on it, you're opening cans of worms, and it's getting difficult. But thank you. You're doing great.
Thanks for being patient.
And yes, as long as we keep an open line of communication, which we have been, which is also half the battle, I feel that our grievances will be satisfied in due time. So just want to say thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Highway,
Okay, I'd just like to acknowledge the work that our highway and water department personnel put into getting this village ready for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. The cleanup efforts, the prep work, the aftermath of the garbage left around. It was done in a timely fashion. They did an excellent job. I just want to thank everybody involved and all the workers from the highway super right on down the list. Everybody did a fantastic job. Thank you.
I agree.
I agree also.
Can I make one quick piggyback on the highway thing? This is, I won't get into any details, but sometimes when I'm doing things I see on, mainly on Facebook, though I know that seems like a silly thing to say, there's a contingency of people in the village that think that the section of sidewalk at the curve is just not being done because we're lazy or incompetent or stupid. And I just wanted to let those people know, because now we have an actual, quantifiable number. The Department of Transportation has issued the Village of Wappingers Falls a damage quote that repairing that area is $1.632 million. So there are $1,632,000 to repair that. So that is why we have not gotten a trough of cement and scattered across like a lot of people think we're supposed to be doing. So hopefully that will make its way to Facebook, and people will now understand we are trying to do our fiduciary responsibility as people that are responsible with your tax dollars, of which we don't have that money. So we are working to get it done. I'm sure our council will help us get it done. Hopefully it will come under our insurance at this point, but this was not something created by the Village of Wappingers Falls, not created by the highway guys, not created by anybody of our fault, and it's $1.6 million. So hopefully next time we talk about this, we have some progress, but now hopefully everyone will understand this is where we're at. Thank you.
That's the sidewalk on West Main we're talking about. Okay, Fire and Lake.
The fire department had 24 calls in the month of February, and nothing for the lake right now.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay, safety. We're having another safety meeting with the committee next week. The only thing that's glaring to me right now is the leaning light post on West Main Street that's leaning towards somebody's room. And I have a guy that's going to take it down. We just aren't going to do it right now because it's winter. I would like to say that the highway guys did a great job of removing the bases from the other ones that fell down, and they made it level by putting concrete in those crevices, those holes, and did a great job with that. So we only have one left.
Got rid of the orange cone.
We're getting there. The MS4 report is due in May. Takes a lot of time to put that together, but I get information from the highway superintendent on the street sweeping and the storm drain cleaning that they've done for the last 12 months. John Kozak, thank you, John, for doing my inspections of the outfalls every year. He does the required amount so that we get 100% within 5 years. And Brian Murphy updates me on what's going on with any of the building swifts or anything like that in the village. Fortunately, we're a small village and we don't have a lot of build out left, but whatever was there, we'll put in that report as well. At the MS4 meeting today, I was elected. Last month, I was nominated. Today, I was elected as chairman of the Dutchess County MS4 Coordination Committee. Joanne Daly from the town of Paulding is the vice chair, and Kathleen Tad Moss, town of Hyde Park, is the secretary. We have 15 municipalities in the MS4. If anyone ever wants to know what MS4 is about, you can call me, and if you got an hour or two, I'll explain it to you.
Sounds fun.
Electric lights. You probably have noticed they put Central Hudson put 6 brand new poles up along West Main Street, and now we have more double woods. We have gobbledygook of wires hanging off, and it's unsightly. to get the double woods moved will take me probably months, if not years, to get that done. But I think moreover, if they want to charge me $200 per pole to put an outlet back on it again, so we can have our Christmas wreaths back up.
How much?
200. $1,200 total, $200 a piece. Now, I have an electrician that could do it. I think he could do it for less, but I'm not going to touch it without Central Hudson approval. And with the double woods there, I'm not even sure we can get a wreath on the new pole. Some of them are in front of the others, so I just want to bring that to your attention as chairman of that committee. Dutchess County Landfill is okay with the funds they have available for this year. That's the mowing that they do there and any other sampling that they do there. We have enough money from that group where we won't need to budget any 23, 24, but you will 24, 25.
And what generally would that be, the cost to the village on that fund?
Probably not a lot, less than probably $5,000.
Okay.
Yep. Recreation.
Recreation is preparing for an Easter egg hunt on April 1st, and we're getting ready for the summer band concerts, and that's all we've got at the moment.
Water.
Excuse me, before we move to water, in light of the fact that it's the consensus of the board not to move forward with the thrift shop, are we going to get some sort of rates for rentals for the boathouse?
I think you already have them, didn't you?
I think I proposed those back about in October. I'll be happy to resubmit those to everybody and put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Well, warmer weather's coming up and you might get,
You did propose them, John.
yes. And so the board eventually will have to make a decision on some rentals.
Probably could.
Some rates for rentals. Okay.
Okay, we did water already. Personnel?
I just wanted to make a motion that we extend Lori Java's position until reorg.
Thought you was explained it last time.
It was
No,
only
till March
extended
8th.
till today.
Oh,
I have no objection.
I'll second that. You made the
Okay.
motion, right?
Yes.
I'll second it. Sorry, Laura.
Probably gonna go further than that. Sewer.
Do we need to vote?
Tri-Muni.
No. Give a vote on this extension
Oh.
for Lori.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Do you have anything for the Tri-Muni, Mayor?
We just had our meetings tomorrow, and Trustee Huber has said he will attend in Mary Morris's absence.
Okay.
11 o'clock at the plant tomorrow.
Yeah, 10:50.
Very good.
That concludes the printed portion of the agenda. Is there anything else? Mayor, did you want to open it up?
If there might be a personnel matter in executive session from one of the trustees.
Is there anything, are we able to talk freely now or no? About non-items or no?
Yes, anyone have something to say? Anybody on the?
I'm thinking board members.
Okay.
Okay, can we have a
Are
motion?
we, my question was, are we able to?
Yes, if
discuss
you,
something?
if,
Okay, so I don't know how this comes about, but I've had 5 people ask me that are residents here, taxpayers, depending on the outcome of this next election, which I assume will likely go a certain way, if there is a salary adjustment based on time availability, because we now have a new way of, our new mayor has a job elsewhere. So I've been kind of asked repeatedly, so I said, well, I'll bring it up to a board meeting. That's all I can do. If, depending on who gets in, but I mean.
I would
kinda-
say this.
It's gonna be obvious.
The election is March 21st. Our workshop is the 22nd. I think this is a more appropriate question at the workshop, because then you will know the makeup of the board.
Okay.
And if it goes the way you think it's going to go, then we might have to ask the new mayor who his selection is for trustee, because he will then get an appointment for a trustee, so that you can get a better consensus.
I'm just doing what the residents were asking me to do.
Correct, I
And
understand.
then my thought was, if that's the case, we're trying to find money, we wanted to have an assistant for Brian, perhaps there's some,
I would like a raise also.
Okay, well,
I'm
that
underpaid in my job.
That can also be discussed at the workshop,
Okay,
because
I'll
then
be
you're
here
gonna,
on the 22nd.
because then you will be starting into a budget process, or a preliminary budget.
You bring this up at budget time anyways?
Yes, yes, trustee Huber, but it is a more
we're very
appropriate,
close to budget.
but it is a more appropriate discussion to have after the election.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's fine.
Question over here.
At least they see me asking the question.
Yes, I
Did we ever
understand.
stipulate when a mayor was elected, whether he was going to be paid part-time or full-time?
It used to be part-time, and then I believe, I could be wrong, and it was one amount. And then it became another amount with the understanding that Matt Alexander was a full-time mayor. And I believe that it's harder to be a whatever. You know what? I don't even.
Listen, everybody's got to be very careful about what they're considering full-time, what they're
I
considering
agree.
part-time. I was in Florida for 2 weeks. I think I was on the phone for 27 hours on my vacation.
No, I agree.
I'm on the phone sometimes at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the phone sometimes at 9 o'clock at night. I'm texting Mr. Courage and we're going over agenda stuff. So just because somebody works a job, I worked a job. I've been a trustee for a long time. I always got done what I needed
These
to
are
get
the
done.
obligations you take.
If somebody takes on a job, they take on that job and they get the job done. I don't care if you can do it in 8 hours in one day, or you spend 7 hours one day, 9 hours the next day. If we're talking about Kevin at this point, since we all know he's the one that's on the ballot, yeah, he has a job, but I can tell you, how many times have I called you at 8 o'clock in the morning, Kevin?
Lots of times.
How many times have we had a conversation at 11 o'clock in the morning? So I just don't think it's relevant.
Okay.
Because if we're gonna sit here and see who spends how much time in this office, or who's, it's just, are we gonna get a book and a monitor and see who's spending what time where?
Well,
There's
to
a
the
job
folks that have
that
asked
needs to get done.
me, Jen Niznik has spoken.
There's a job that needs to get, there's just other ways other than an 8 to 5 job.
Exactly. This is what I was trying to point out.
I do my phone calls, I'm down to 32 cents a phone call.
Turn it down, get a business report.
Chairman Commissioner calls me all the time too.
Okay, can we have a motion to go into executive session?
Oh, Joni's got excuse me.
Yes.
Can I stay here or do I have to come up and speak?
We know.
Come up.
That's fine. You really want to hear this?
Is this bulletproof?
Alright, good evening, village board members. I'm here to talk about North Street. Every time I come to this board meeting, I talk about North Street. And you know what number it is. Number 10. You know, Mayor, I'm getting tired of it. I look at my house every day, and I'm getting tired of looking at it. That's one reason I could not sell my house. You know that?
Why, because you got tired of looking at it, John?
No,
No, you can write a song about it. You got 8 gas grills, you got dumbbells, you got furniture, lazy boys laying around the front porch. You got 8 work chairs, 8 work picnic tables, everything.
Workbenches.
I'm getting tired of it. I really am. You know what, too? My husband ran into a family member that used to work in the neighborhood, and lived in the neighborhood. He said, "Oh, Joan, I think you guys moved. We saw that real estate sign down." I was like, "No." "Oh, you know why you didn't move?" "They know why. 10 North Street. There was a recliner on the front porch for 5 months. You know what? And the next day I heard, you took a trip down North Street, Mayor. You know why? Next day, it was gone. It was gone. That's why I could not sell my house. I'm tired of looking at it. What's going to happen? Didn't you village board members adopt a law to go after property owners with junk laying around?
We did.
Yes or no?
We did, Jim.
Maybe you weren't on the board then, but the former Mount Alexander adopted a new law to go after people. Why can't you do your job, Mr. Wallace? Why can't you do your job? People, Brian writes up a summons. He comes in front of the board. Nothing happens. You know, maybe we need a new lawyer to fight for these residents. You think it's funny, don't you? I don't. I'm retired. I'm working a part-time budget.
Let's just clarify something. The complaint, after, say, the building inspector writes it up, is gonna go not to the board, it's going through
the court,
through the channels. And so, depending on what happens there, you might get.
But it's still sitting there. It's still sitting there. I'm getting tired of looking at it. Should I become an absentee landlord and just start throwing stuff all around my property? Say, I don't want to do that. I'm not like that. I feel sorry for my next door neighbors. That's where my next door neighbors right there, 14 North Street. You know what?
Has he ever been given summons, Joe?
What?
Has he ever been given summons?
Oh, many times. Many times. And it's just, out, done, boom. I'm getting tired of looking at it. The garage got picked up. Thank you for doing that. But the rest of the yard, it's a piece of crap.
Okay.
The house is going on the market again. You have better have something done. Or guess what? I took pictures. Nothing's done. I'm going to the press. I'm going to the newspaper, doing something. It better be cleaned up. And it's true, Mr. Mayor, I take a walk through this village. Is it true you have an abandoned car on your property with no license plates on it? A red one?
There is a car in my backyard.
Excuse me?
There is a car in my backyard.
But it's a red one, right? No license plates on it.
No, you're correct.
So you're breaking the law too. It should be picked up and moved out. It's disgusting. You want people to move in this village hall? You want people to come in this business, village, clean up this village. Or next, if it's not cleaned up, I'm gonna go to Channel 12 and you'll be seeing Channel 12 come up and embarrass this village, what it looks like.
Well, that's your prerogative. You could do that.
You're doing your job. You're the mayor. Aren't you supposed to adopt the law and follow it and worry about the residents? How many times I come to this board meeting, invite you to take a walk through this village? Have you?
Yes.
Have you? You have.
I drive around the village.
Take a walk. What can you see from your car window? You see me every day when it's been cold out. I take walks through this village, from my house, through the village, up North Street, down, up around, by Wap Jr., everything. I'm getting tired of looking at the garbage.
I'll be honest with you. I see your husband more than I see you, but I have seen you.
You see my husband walking.
Your husband always is running.
Excuse me?
Your husband always runs. So
my husband does not run. 7 years ago, they found a tumor in his head. He does not run. He walks. I walk. I walk through this village. You know where I walk. John Carson knows where I walk. These guys know where they know where I walk. It has to be cleaned up.
Attorney Wallace, Can you speak to this, please? Because she's, not that we need, I'm not saying everything she said is right, but she's correct. We have not been able to get a handle on this property. And Mike can attest to, 2 years ago, one of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of this operation here was because of these things. And I believe that she couldn't sell her house because of that property there. I believe that to be true.
You know what?
And so,
Okay.
so my question is, what's that?
No.
Let me
No,
just,
no.
I'm on your side here, so
All right, no,
in case you don't know that.
All right, listen. The young girl, she came up from Ossining one day for the house husband. Her sister came up, her parents come up, and she's like, "What's across the street?" Her parents like, "What's that across the street?" She's like, "Oh, that's his property." It's like, oh, and a funny feeling, that's why she didn't buy the house. I could have been packed up and moved out of this village to another state.
So let me just get back onto the point.
But go ahead, thank you.
We understand. Can you speak to if there is an avenue, to how we can satisfy her and how we can assist the residents? Because we've heard this repeatedly. Our first comp plan, we had residents sitting here saying that what is the point of even having this comp plan if we're not enforcing things?
I think we have the avenue.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't suggest that you talk about specific offenders in an open meeting.
Okay, well, I haven't named
But-
any particular person.
There is no pending action right now on that particular
Okay.
address.
Mhm.
So when there is a viable offense, a code enforcement offense, we take them seriously.
I know you
We
do.
prosecute them.
Yeah,
We just got a great result in Supreme Court on one of them.
yeah.
So I know this board can attest to the fact that we go after them aggressively
Uh-huh.
and to the letter of the law when we have a viable and provable case. So I can't comment on a specific property.
Well, no, what I'm just saying is, there is an avenue, we do take action, and we've now been put on notice, and we will collaborate again, which we have done. I will tell you, there's one person, not that this makes it any better, but there's one property that there was a Supreme Court judgment, went all the way to the Supreme Court, there was a judgment, and they still didn't follow what the court demanded, decreed. So we can't physically go there and do the work, you know what I mean? But that I never would have thought in a million years was a reality. That you could go to court, you could keep going, then you go to Supreme Court, then the Supreme Court says, yep, this property owner must do X, Y, Z, they're in complete violation, and that person can go, I'm not gonna do it. And then they just go, okay.
I think you guys are gonna offer him a dumpster, to put the dumpster on the property.
Oh, I don't
Tell
know.
them what crap like. But there was a house right across the street from the post office. That was cleaned up. Why can't 10 North Street get cleaned up?
I think that house will fall under the same one as the one on
It can.
Remsen.
You can?
No, I'm saying it can be cleaned up. It should be cleaned up.
I know that.
I would say also maybe a good thing to do. We're trying,
He
but
didn't even talk to me. He just like, oops,
who?
what do you think? My owner, across the street.
Oh no, I wasn't going to suggest that. I would never suggest that. But unfortunately, and I don't want anyone to be like, it's not your job to contact, but call and complain to our code enforcement officer.
I
I think that might be. We do it.
You mean talk to Brian?
I've done it on your behalf.
All right.
But maybe do it also. I'm not saying only. I will also.
Well, I'll write it
We'll
up.
be watching this.
I'll stop by this week and I'll write another one up.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I have a motion on the floor from trustee Tillishek to go into executive
I'll
session.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.